Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is the morning of day 5 after Hurricane Helene. We are still without power. I'm going to take you around today and do some farm chores. We've got to move some sheep and get them some more grass. We got to address some stuff in the chicken coops, collect the eggs. Actually, one interesting thing that happened with all the wind is all of the nesting material in their nest boxes got blown out, and so I'm going to replace some nesting material, make sure they obviously got food and water, and just kind of go around and show you how we're doing farm chores and managing the farm without electricity. I was able to figure out how to get running water, which I'll kind of show you how I did that. It's not necessarily the most conventional way, but I wouldn't say conventional. It's rigged up a little bit. But we were in a desperate situation where we had to get water to our cows, and the amount of water cows and horses drink is not something that you can like haul 5-gallon buckets in unless you were just absolutely, there was no other option. And I'm glad that I was able to figure something else out that didn't require that, because that would have been a lot of hauling. So anyways, let's get started. So on a normal farm day, I would be doing the milking, but today I've actually got Jessica doing the milking because we have to milk by hand, and Jessica's actually better at it because she's had to milk the goats by hand. I can do it, I just don't do it as efficiently, and honestly, like, my hands aren't as strong as hers in this capacity. So she's going to cover the milking. First thing I got to go do right now is I've got to go over and open the gate for our hay delivery. I'm kind of hoping that this hay delivery is the only one I'm going to need for the fall. We downsized to 15 head of cattle. We had some unfortunate things happen with our jerseys, and I actually rehomed and retired one of our horses that we felt like was not going to be healthy for her to continue to be ridden. And so I've got a place here, a friend of ours that lets them come and stay at their house and get pampered and taken care of and not have to be ridden anymore. So with that downsizing, I actually don't have as much hay pressure as I did last year, which is going to save us obviously money and then just time of constantly having to put hay bales out and manage who has it, who doesn't, and so on. So I got a whole truckload of hay coming, or I think it's actually here. I think I just saw it pull up, that I'm going to go unload. So that was a total of 31 bales. This is what they consider horse hay. It's kind of high quality. I think it's coastal Bermuda. It's been barn kept, so it hasn't been rained on at all. And I get this quality of hay for the goats and the Jersey cows. Occasionally I'll put one out for the horses and the regular cows, mostly for the horses. The beef herd doesn't actually need this high quality of hay. They will actually, especially the Devons, will maintain their body composition on a lesser quality, which is more affordable. But the horses, I try to give them a higher end hay. So as it is right now, I can't isolate the horses into their own hay bale. I'm going to work on that over the next few months to try and get some more cross fencing and structure on our pastures in place. Based off of how much we used last winter, these 31 bales should get us well into the spring, and maybe even have some left over. I went ahead and bought this many now because I budgeted and could afford it. Buying a lot at a time, well, actually, one, it's nice just to have reserve, so you don't have to worry about running out of hay. Two, the more you buy at one time, especially if they're going to deliver it like we did, because I don't have any way of hauling that many bales of hay in one trip. And so having them deliver it and getting this many gives me a discount, because the more you get, the cheaper that they charge you because of the amount of fuel costs and things like that. So if you can afford it and can budget it and can get more hay at once, you actually will end up saving money. And so I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of hoping this lasts us until spring. There's a chance that it doesn't, but with the size of our herds now, and the fact that I know we'll have a decent winter grass coming into the pastures, and also because we're going to be using the field across from the garden now as a pasture for grazing, I think we'll be okay. Anyways, move on with the day. I've got to get this stacked up in the barn, keep it out of the rain, at least mostly out of the rain. This barn has seen better days, but it's just not high on the priority list right now. But anyways, get it stacked up. We'll stack it the same way that it was stacked on the trailer, 2 on bottom, 1 in the middle. Get it stored, and then we've got to move on to getting the rest of the farm addressed. I've got to check on the generators, make sure everything's good. We're coming up on the shut-off time, so we do a 6-hour cycle. 6 hours on, 6 hours off, and that's essentially just for the freezers and the fridges. While things are on, people are charging their stuff, charging phones, charging batteries, different things like that. And then when it's off, we're letting everything kind of rest. That way we're also not consuming too much gas. The gate that I normally would take the hay through is right there to the right of the tree house, and those trees are laying right in front of it. And I haven't done the tree cleanup yet because I kind of told Jessica, I said, I think I'm going to wait on the tree cleanup because it's going to be a very dirty job. Just chainsawing with wood chips coming out everywhere. It's dirty. There's lots of dust and dirt that gets flung up. I mean, it's grimy. Because it's so grimy, I didn't want to get into that until I had power restored, where I could take a hot shower and get clean afterwards. And because the trees aren't actually hurting anything, they're not hurting the tree house, they're not like on a power line or anything like that, it's not really an issue. And plus, the kids have been playing in it. Honestly, they've played more in the 2 down trees than they played in the tree house in the last month or so. So I've left it for them to kind of just jump around in. Like I said, I made sure that there was no danger. There's no limbs that have a bunch of pressure on them that are going to snap and cause the tree to shift or anything like that. I took care of all the limbs that were on top of the zip line. And they've been playing on it for days now, and it's been fine. So once we get power restored, I don't know exactly when that'll be. I'm not getting my hopes up. So here's a trick to whenever you lose power. Try not to set your heart on it being at a certain time or day. Just assume that it's not going to come back on anytime soon, because that way when it does, you'll be happily surprised. Oh, look, the power's on. Instead of hoping it's this day or hoping it's this day or hoping it's this day, and then it doesn't happen, and then you're dealing with disappointment. And so that's just... I've been without power for a couple of weeks before when I lived in Oklahoma. And so I've learned to just honestly set my mind and my heart on the fact that it could be a while. So we're going through this gate over here by the red barn and the round pen, and then we'll cut through to get to the Jersey paddock. I'm gonna grab some feed back at the barn and go ahead and head out to the sheep. I haven't decided if I'm going to move the whole operation and set up a whole new pen and move the house, or just extend the current pen that they're in. The reasoning for that, or the way I'm thinking about it, is their water bucket right now is about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way full. If I was to move the whole operation, I would have to dump that out and refill it. With water being kind of an issue as far as like, would it be impossible to get more water over there? No, but it would require me pulling the IBC tote that I've got up at the house right now and taking it over there. And honestly, all I'm really needing to do is just give them some more grass for right now. I'm actually not prioritizing keeping them at optimal rotation. Just because we're in a little bit of a survival state of, don't expend more energy than you need to. I've already got other things that I need to get to. Also, I just got a call for my friend James, and someone around the corner can't get back to their house. So I'm going to take the track hoe over there here in a little bit and help them get those trees out of the way, and just spend probably a couple hours helping a neighbor. So like stuff like that's still going on. I think I'm just going to give them a bigger pen, let them get to that grass that's over there. I will get back into a rotation once things kind of get a little bit back to normal here. Again, it's really just a time thing. It's not that I couldn't make it happen, but I'm trying to spend the energy I have wisely. I'm going to grab a 5-gallon bucket of hay to put in the chicken coop for the nesting boxes. So one thing I do like to do for the nest boxes is that you get a lot of waste whenever you're storing square bales of hay, which we have here for the goats. And when you're separating that or moving, a certain amount to give to them, stuff falls down and kind of builds up. So I try and use that for the nest boxes rather than getting into a new bale. Okay, so here's the pen. I've laid out my extension. I got two 50-foot pieces on the ends and then a 100-foot piece that runs down the side. If I was just going to be moving the whole thing, I would essentially use this 100-foot piece right here that's closest to me and make it the wall off of this right side, or the net that's on this right side. And I would essentially set up these other 3 pieces, open this up, let them in, drag the house around, move the water over, and then close it back off, take down the 3 pieces that are not being used on the right. But because I'm just going to make this one giant pen for right now, I'm actually going to tie this 50-foot piece into this 50-foot piece and do the same thing on the end. And then when I'm done setting all that up, I'll have to set 2 new T-posts. But when I'm done setting all that up, I'm actually just going to take down this 100-foot piece that's dividing in the middle and just give them access to both sides. This will give me about 3 or 4 more days without having to address them again. And hopefully by then we've got power back on, things are a little bit more normal. And then I'll put them back in a smaller paddock and start doing the rotation again. Normally I would try and get some drone shots of this because it gives you a better perspective of where exactly the fences are going. But because power is limited, I don't feel like charging the drone is a high priority. I'm using a really small, easy to use camera that charges really fast. That's why I'm actually, and Jessica also are able to shoot videos. But the drone is out of the question until we've got a regular power back. Some of them kind of snuck through because down there at that end, I had to move the fence over a little bit to make it line up straight, and so that left a gap kind of like right here, and they snuck through. But some of them haven't made the jump yet, so I'm going to go ahead and take this 100-foot piece down and store it for the next run. The wind from the storm actually did kind of loosen up these nets. You know, the T-posts are leaning. I'm thinking tonight I'll probably come out and lock the coops up so I can move them and reset all the netting. Again, it's been one of those triage things where that hasn't been the highest priority. They've been fine. They've been, you know, saying they're not in danger, so it wasn't something that I needed to jump on. But I'll probably go ahead and move them tomorrow. We've been using these multi-pound feeders. They've got 3 little doorways on the front, and that's really helped keep feed from going bad, because, you know, if you put out a certain amount on the ground and they don't go through it, dew or rain can wash it away. Other birds can get to it. I like those multi-pound feeders because, like I said, it provides plenty of feed and keeps it dry, and that way also you don't have to come out and feed every single day. It's usually about every 3 or 4 days. So checking out the next boxes. Okay, they've got their favorite one egg, none. Okay, so we've got a few eggs. It's not abnormal for them to kind of decrease their laying after something like a bad windstorm. Makes them feel unsettled, makes them feel at risk. So you can see egg production drop whenever they don't feel safe. But the nest boxes, you know, are pretty messed up, so that's what I got my bucket of scrap hay for. Oh yeah. Okay. Come over here and get these reset and gather those eggs up. I already checked their water. Water's good, which is nice because that means I don't have to turn the generator back on and drag the hose over here or the IBC tote to fill it up. Hey guys, I apologize for the abrupt end to this video. In the middle of editing it, I realized that a couple of things were going on. One, after getting all the farm chore footage of doing the chores without power, you know, in the middle of our power outage, after Hurricane Helene had come through, that it had already gone kind of long. It was already, you know, 15 to 18 minute video, and I didn't want to make it even longer. However, I do feel like the footage I got at the end of that day was very valuable. So at the end of the chores, I went and showed how we were able to hook up our well using non-conventional materials and means to get our pump going to be able to water the cows and the horses and get some water back to our house. And so because I think that that's valuable and I don't want to just leave it off, I decided to end the chore video here. And so I'm going to make a separate video of just that footage. I'll probably have to shoot like a separate introduction, but that's okay. So I'm going to do a separate video kind of showing, you know, once we came to the realization that we were not going to be able to get like I said, conventional plug that goes into the generator and into, you know, a plug-in system. I had to find another way to get our water going. And so that's what I did. That's going to be in the next video. So again, thank you for hanging out with me and watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.